Benjamin can have love for the truckie. Beautiful minds, but we love getting ugly. Risk takers with a clover, man, we love getting lucky. You run, we chase fire, I love when it ducks me. Tones go off, house watch, read the address out. 1075, get up off the magic couch. 500 gallons prepared for the baddest drought. Who else you want on the way when disaster's out? Can't even get a little bit rattled when you enter with exit apparel. Mayday, member down, they'll drag you. You won't get this from every Tom, Dick, and Harold, but here's a view from the top floor with Mickey Farrell.
It's been a while since we got together like this.
I enjoy it, man. It's been a wild ride. There's a lot of interesting things going on across the landscape of the American Fire Service. You've been traveling a ton. I've been traveling. We got a lot of things going on. I don't know, man. I was, I said to you earlier, we want to go down this road. I was talking to you about, like, I'm tired of everybody trying to be so perfect. And I've come to realize that it's the imperfection which makes me who I am. I'm kind of getting tired of how everybody thinks they have to be so polished and so apologetic. Listen, you want to take a break from the internet? Take a break from the internet. I don't need you to tell me you need to go take a break. It's okay. I got in a rut the last couple of weeks. I'm working on something outside of NFR, and it's consumed me as a human being. Physically and mentally, it's this massive project I'm involved with. And so my social media had to slow down. I haven't even been scrolling, let alone trying to get things posted for people. So it's okay if you got to slow down. I don't think the world requires an explanation from you. And I think part of that is thinking that your impact is so important that you have to give people the heads up that I need some time for myself. I don't get that. I don't get it, because that tells me, Mick, that it's all about you and me. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the content you put out should be for people to consume because you think you can bring value to their world, not bringing value, inflating yourself. And this is where the value proposition is so fucked, is that everybody says they're doing it for other people, and yet they do it for themselves.
Well, we talk about this often, right? Believing your own hype. Where does that leave you? It leaves you thinking that everyone's talking about you or posting about you as an individual. And you have to realize that this whole thing, from the fire service to the world we're in with the social media, it's so much bigger than you as an individual. No one cares about you as an individual. Nobody does. Don't fool yourself that they do. That's the reality of it. Most of us are just messengers of information, and that's all it is. People really, really think that they're somebody, and they believe the hype that they are this personality that people are intrigued by. It's like, that's not the case, man. Like, and it's draining. It's embarrassing. Sitting back and watching a lot of it, it's become embarrassing almost. It's embarrassing for what I feel a lot of us has built as through authenticity. Now I feel like there's this whole, like, this act people put on to be this motivational speaker or whatnot. It's crazy to me. The imperfection, the fire service is very imperfect. Like, we always talk about mistakes, humility, and I say all the time that every single fire I go to, I make a mistake. Every single fire you go to, you make mistakes. But that's how we get better. That's what makes the job so addictive, because we try to be better at it at the next fire. What we're not doing, and what we're trying to mask for whatever reason, is that our lives are perfect, and there's no imperfection in our lives. This is the fire service. We're human beings. There's mistakes across the board. That's what makes us so authentic, are our imperfections. That's what we lost sight on, but that's not necessarily the focus for so many.
We just own reality. Live in the now. Be honest, because everybody's life is a hot load of shit. Everybody's got struggles and imperfection. And when you focus on it, like I heard something not too long ago, and I thought it was really interesting because I never thought about it. If you're a person that says they have anxiety and you focus on your anxiety all the time, and that's all you talk about is your anxiety, well then, of course you're going to be anxious. Of course you're going to live that type of life. Focusing on something, if you focus on, oh, I don't feel well, and that's all you do is focus on it, of course you're not going to feel well. I think that so many people dwell in that world of focusing on the stuff that keeps them down. Like, I live in an imperfect world. I suck as a husband, I suck as a father, I suck as a fireman. That's fine. I try to do my best across the board every single day. And, you know, with NFR and having podcasts, some days I'm on and I feel good about it. Some days I do interviews and I feel like crap about it. It's not a perfect world. And I'm so fucking tired of people always trying to pretend that things are so great. And then when they're not, they make light of it by saying, oh, I need some more time for myself. Oh, I need to go find God. Oh, I need this or that. And it gets to be too much. Some of it just needs to be quiet. Like sometimes you have to deal with the shit that was dealt to you and just deal with it. It doesn't need to be put on a pedestal and analyzed and broken down and apologizing. Fuck that. Just pick up your game. If you're not doing well today, if you didn't do well as a parent, you let your kids down today, tomorrow's a new day, do better. You know what I'm saying? If you told your wife you were going to come home earlier and you got home later and didn't call, or you're supposed to pick up dinner, whatever it is, you know what? The next night, do it better. It's an imperfect world. And I'm just so tired of people, everybody likes to take ownership today of their shit, but they like to share it with the world. And to me, the last thing I want to do is share with you my everyday struggles when you just have to put your big boy pants on and go deal with it. And I'm fucking tired of it. I really am.
Everyone talks about wisdom, and they're trying to spread wisdom through the American Fire Service, through politics. Everyone has their own wisdom, through health, through workout. A lot of times wisdom is what you don't say. That's wisdom. Wisdom's not necessarily about what you're portraying on people to teach wisdom. Wisdom is just by doing nothing sometimes, remaining silent, observing, watching. Sometimes the only win you have in a day is saying thank you when you got your cup of coffee in the morning. That's your only win. It's the fact that you said thank you and that made you feel good. The rest of the day sucked. Everything else you completely fucked up. But that one micro win, sometimes that's all you have, and that's wisdom.
It's knowing, you talk a lot about it, Mick, and I talk about it. You know what? This past weekend, you did your program, you, Champs, and Anthony Roette. We did a benefit for a family friend of yours, raised a lot of money for a great family that has given so much, and now they need some help, and we were able to provide some monetary help through our benefit this weekend, right? But I sat through your class. I haven't sat through your class in quite a while. And it's funny because I still don't think you've seen my entire Bridging the Gap program, right?
No, I haven't.
Right. So what's really interesting, though, sitting through your class again for the second or third time now over the last, 2 years, I found we have a lot of similarities in our program. They intertwine on a lot of common messages. And the one that you talk about is knowing where to fit in. And I think that is a big part of where people are struggling. People are so accustomed to just getting their way. It's about them when it's not about you. You have to understand that, and you have to know where you fit in. You mentioned before that something comes out on social, somebody makes a comment, and automatically people think it's about them. Is he targeting me? Like, what? No, get out of your own head. Understand where you fit in, that you're just a part of the machine here. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're truly doing your social media content for the fire service to give back to the fire service, meaning you feel you have a message that you want to share, and it's not about you. Like, it's not about me. I know it's not about you. The shit that we try to do, it tries to make the fire service better. I'm truly believing that it's legacy that matters. And you have to understand where you fit in with all of that. It's those that get so caught up in it, they make it personal. And it's not. They don't know where they fit in. They don't understand how to fit in. And they're forcing it. Think about that. And I think about the last 7 years it's taken me to build a brand from nothing, to build a content delivery platform, to try to educate the fire service by protecting the stories and legacy of the senior man. Like, that was all the original intent of National Fire Radio. And from there, it's grown. But the one thing that I've really come to understand has nothing to do with me. It's not about me, period. Until people start to realize that, we got to do better at it, man. We got to do better at it. People have to really understand that they got to walk with their heads up and not with their heads down. They got to focus on the people around them and not on themselves. And that's where we are right now. We're a world in which we worry more about ourselves than anyone else. And I think that's a problem.
The only reason I believe in putting a face and a name to any information is for accountability, not for self-promotion. So once we lose sight of why we do certain things, why I have a name attached to Top Floor Tactics, when it was an alias for many years, because I wasn't ready to take that step until I realized that, okay, I am making an impact. There is an influence here. And to be influential, you have to own it. So that's when the reality of, okay, name to face to message, it all comes together full circle. And that's where authenticity comes in. When you don't have a name to a face to something and you're trying to portray a message, I look at that as fraud. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're saying, what you truly believe in. Not that it's, again, not about you on a personal level, but you have to be able to own what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Flip the script. Those that come out right away, this is who I am, and this is what I'm talking about, and I'm going to motivate you. Well, what are you trying to do? Are you motivating yourself, or are you truly trying to motivate the American Fire Service?
It's become apparent to me in a lot of ways that the platforms that don't survive are typically the ones that never were in it for the right reasons to begin with. There's been a lot that have come and gone, and I've seen a lot that are here now that they are quite manufactured, meaning that I don't know what the intent is. I don't think the intent is legacy. I think there's other intent behind it, and that's fine too. I think the one fun thing I say to you when it drives you up a wall is when we talk about things and I go, I love it, man. I fucking love it. And you go, you love everything. And I go, yeah, I do. Because I think there's a space for all of it, even the frauds. There has to be. We've always had snake oil salesmen. I mean, you've always had people throughout time and history were frauds or fakes or charlatans. That's all part of the process. And what I think that does is, yeah, there's going to be people that buy into it. There's going to be people that buy into the nonsense and the noise, and that's fine. Whether the message is on point or not, you're not going to be able to control or fix the narrative to make sure everybody follows the right people. But what I often find is the ones that follow the frauds find out over time that they've been misled, and they come back to a world of which is credible. I think credibility absolutely matters, and when you manufacture the process and it's not natural, organic wins every time. And when you manufacture it, I wish you luck. You might have some short-term success, but the long-term is not going to be legacy. It's not going to be people lined up at your funeral. I can tell you that.
The long game wins as well. There's no overnight success in anything in life. The fire industry promotes overnight success without understanding the service side of things, understanding the humility and the work and the sleepless nights, believe it or not, behind a lot of this that comes with it if you're authentic and you're genuine and you're honest with yourself. Honesty with yourself, that's number one, and that's the hardest part. That said, we're being rather negative on this, but there's a lot of good stuff coming out too as well. Some really good content from people that are vetted and that decided to take that leap into this world to pass on the information and the tradition, the legacy, the honor of the job. There's a lot of good too. So it goes both ways. I think the more the better, but when does it get drawn out? When does it take firefighting unlocalized? I just did the thing with Bob, and we talked about localized firefighting and how it really is a localized business. You can't go from the West Coast to East Coast and marry those tactics in one. You can't do it. Can you marry the cultures? You can try, but the cultures are very different as well. It's a very, very big fire service, but it's very localized in the sense of tradition, pride, culture, and tactics. We have to understand that, and the social media world has given everyone an ability to merge these all together, right. And that's where it's dangerous.
Right. There's, that it's that broad stroke that I talk about. The fire service is local, and, you have major urban departments with thousands of firefighters on the line, and you have dirt floor firehouses in middle America that is truly neighbors helping neighbors. When you look at that conversation, there is absolutely no way in hell that the same delivery of services is possible. The expectation is not possible. And so you have to start looking at it, and we have to have real conversation about what the fire service in America truly looks like. And it is quite diverse, just like the people that make up our fire service and the people that we serve. It's incredibly diverse across the board, from economics to people to demographics and everything else in between. And so I'm tired of this like one shoe fits all, like this one size sweeping broad stroke, the American Fire Service. Fuck off. Like, I'm tired of it. There's so many layers in it that if you want to start talking, we have to get specific on our message. We have to know who we're addressing, who we're talking to. I'm tired of people, and it's not even Monday morning quarterbacking. We've always had that. We'll always have that, right? On social media, it's somebody that thinks that their point of view is better than someone else's, or they know more than the next guy. That's fine. Like, we're always going to we have those guys in our firehouses every day. We have the know-it-alls and the guys that have an answer to everything. I get it. I think I was once one of those people. But the thing is this, where's the humility in understanding that maybe you don't understand where this person's coming from, their perspective, how they fight fires, what their staffing is, what their water supply looks like, how their operations are. You have not the foggiest fucking clue. And if you've never gotten out of your zip code, and that's the problem with most firefighters in this country, is they don't travel and they don't get out of their own zip code. And I promise you, you could go an hour down the road and it is quite different than what you think you know about the fire service at home. And I think that's really interesting. And I would double down on that conversation you had with Bob today about firefighting is local. It's 100% local. And I don't think there's anything on a broad stroke that can help us across the board. And if anything, I think when we take a position with a broad stroke and addressing the fire service in general, we alienate, and truthfully, it divides us instead of bringing us together.
Yeah, you know, I'm pulling up a DM I got from someone here. Randomly got this the other day. Pretty much saying, throughout my travels, based on my experiences and observation, what is the biggest issue facing the fire service? I wrote back, the fire service is a lack of humility. And that goes from different ways, right? But then I said, on the teaching circuit, guys that believe their own hype and have a humble arrogance about themselves. That's a problem. Humble arrogance is a major, major problem when it comes to passing on information in the fire service. There's humble and there's arrogance. A humble arrogance is dangerous. It's passive aggressive. There's no room for passive aggressiveness on the fire ground. I'll tell you that right now. And then he says that's part of it. As well as humility, though, not admitting that you're wrong or don't know everything. And then it goes on to say, why do you think that this is the case? The lack of humility. Has the job not humbled him that? What do you think? And I go, that's part of it, as well as humility, though, not admitting that you don't know everything, like you just said. He goes on to say, do their egos prevent them from understanding that the courage of vulnerability, in this case, to know that you don't know everything and that it's okay, earns them more credibility and leadership capital than pretending otherwise? I write back, I think a lot of it is that complacency over the years and the next generation asking why. This is the next generation always asking why, and that's good. But this intimidates those who never truly learn the game. And that's where the stalemate is. We have the generation now, that 10, 15, 20-year guy in the firehouse who never really was fully committed to understanding the game. Now the generation comes in and says, well, why are we doing this? Why are we running this play? What are we doing this for? They don't have the answers because they never truly learned. They just kind of rode the coattails of the guys before them. Those guys are now turned off. So that's where that arrogance comes from. Now you have that middle-of-the-road guy that understands the game but doesn't truly know it all. And that's where that humble arrogance comes in, where it's like, well, I'm going to save myself from being embarrassed for not having all the correct answers, but I think I know most of it. And that's where that fine line of danger comes in when you're teaching. I think that having the humility in your instructing and your teaching is so important. By telling them everything you don't know, we're learning together. Having a humble arrogance and like force-feeding information to people is dangerous, and I see so much of it on the national level now. Humble arrogance was something that was localized with instructors that were teaching at a local level, I feel like. Having that at a national level is dangerous because SOPs are not the standard across the entire nation, and throwing in that arrogance in between it leaves a lot of room for gray.
People that aren't confident in their own skills and abilities and in their own career can be swayed easily. The people that can be swayed are the ones that are not 100% confident in their own skills and abilities, and they're seeking something more. And so we have to be careful that the people that are teaching and educating are coming from a place of authenticity and experience. If not, and they have that humble arrogance, it can really affect other people's careers, especially if that person is influential. And when you break that down, like in my Bridging the Gap program, there's a slide. It goes, the one slide is a picture of an old guy. It says, shut up, old man. And then everybody laughs. And I'm like, this is in every firehouse across the country, right? We're tired of the old guys saying this is the way we've always done it, blah, blah, blah. The next slide is, stupid kid, stop asking why. And I go into the whole why and how the asking of why is a perceived threat, because so many that are supposed to have the answers don't. And so instead of taking ownership of their lack of accountability and knowing what they should know, they tell the kid to shut up and go away. They don't own their misinformed nature. They don't own any of it. And we have a generation that is super inquisitive today, and they're not afraid to ask why. I watch these kids ask questions in the fire service that I would have never asked in front of a group of people. I kept my mouth shut for, I couldn't tell you how many months in the beginning. I wanted to ask every question under the sun. I wouldn't ask a single one. Because one, you don't want to look weak. You didn't want to fail in front of your peers. And you didn't want to look like you didn't know the answer yourself. And so you would sit there and instead of just ask the question, you would literally let it ride out until one day it becomes present and you get your answers. But today, these kids have no problem asking why. And they're inquisitive because everything's right here. They want to know why. It's right here. And so the Y generation, it's not a threat to those that see it as a threat. It's actually just an inquisitive generation that wants to know more information about what they're doing or what they're being asked to do. And those that take the Y as a perceived threat are the ones that are weak in their own skills and abilities, period.
You know, I did a class just recently with the probies, and at the end, obviously, you say, any questions? And over the years, I've watched like 1 or 2 questions. Just last week I did it. No joke, no exaggeration. 12 hands went up.
Yep.
The point, I didn't have enough time for the questions.
Yep.
I answered 1 or 2, and then I said, anyone needs me, meet me on the side, we'll talk. And those guys came up to me on the side and talked. They wanted to know certain things because I said something in my class, and then they wanted to know why I said that. And a lot of times it's like, you know what? Great question. Let me rethink why I said that. And I like that because it holds us all accountable.
I would agree with that 100%. And that is a big part of what I talk about and understanding that. What it does is that word accountability, which we all struggle with, right? We all struggle with it. But man, when you have a generation of people that want to know the why, they're looking for expectations. They want to know what the expectations are from them and what we expect from them. And they also want feedback to understand if they're doing it right. They want performance review done in a professional way, that if they're not hitting the expectations we set forth for them, they want to know how and why they're not and how can they fix it. This is an inquisitive generation that wants direction. It takes accountability on our part, the senior people, to work harder than ever before to educate, because these people are hungry to be educated.
It goes as far as some of the young kids coming out into the field now. They want to know, okay, if this is the tradition and culture of this job, where's that written down so I can read it and learn it? And that's hard to explain to them. Listen, you don't teach culture. You just pay attention and live it. You experience it. You make the mistakes learning the culture, and then that's how it molds you into who you are. That's a problem because they want to know the answers. They want to know, well, you said this, and then this guy's doing that, and nothing's happening. Why isn't he part of the culture? And it's just one of those things that you either buy in or you don't. And my advice to anyone coming onto this job is buy into it and trust it. Everything isn't written down for a reason.
It's grandma's sauce, right?
Yeah.
Grandma's sauce. Any tomato sauce is good. Grandma's is the best. But grandma didn't write down her recipe for you to read. You have to learn it over time. And when grandma thinks you're ready to have that recipe, she's going to tell you. She'll show you. She'll teach you. Something you talk about and I talk about, another thing that we parallel in our programs is trusting the process. That's a big part of it. And Mick, you preach it all the time, right? Like, you have to trust the process. And sometimes it's a blind trust. We ask people to blindly trust us sometimes. They have to. We want you and need you to go all in. And I promise, if you give yourself to it and you trust the process, it can be and will be rewarding for you. It's not perfect. It's going to let you down. It's going to kick you in the nuts at times. There's no doubt, man. Talk about getting in ruts. Talk about falling off the train and getting back on. We all go through that, right? You have to still trust it. At the end of the day, man, I know a lot of people have been disillusioned by it. I know a lot of people don't love it like they used to. They've fallen out of love with it. It doesn't have the same luster it had from day one. I get that. I totally get it. But I say to everybody at the end of my program, you have the ability to write your own story. And if you're 30 years in and you don't like what your career looks like, fix it. You don't like your life, fix it. You don't like the way your kids look at you, fix that. You don't have a good relationship with your spouse, fix it. You write your fucking story. Nobody else does. You know? And so, like, if you don't like where you are in your fire service journey, fix it. You have the ability to do it. It comes down to a few core principles, and it's that humility, accountability, trusting the process. These are all super heavy things that matter in the fire service.
And it all comes back, we always say this job is not about you. It's much bigger than you as an individual. But it starts with you as an individual. If you can look at yourself internally as an individual and mold that to be a good man, I can promise you that a good officer will make you a fireman.
I love
You
that.
have to be a good man from day one. And that comes from looking within.
And it can't be manufactured, right? We talked about that from in the beginning. It has to be organic, and trusting the process means it's organic. And some people's process, depending on where you're a fireman, you might go to 100 fires in your first year. And guess what? You might not go to 100 fires in a 25-year career. Everybody's career and process is different. It all depends on where you are, where you work, how you volunteer. Everybody's journey is different. The process has to be organic. You can't manufacture it. You can't fake it. You can't speed it up. If your department where you ride is only going to 4 or 5 fires a year, and that's your experience level, well, think about it. In 5 years, that's 20 fires, 25 fires. That's it. Where somebody might go to 25 fires in their first 6 months.
I mean, you could have a $250 bottle of wine. You open it, you let it breathe. Okay, it's not bad. You could have a $25 bottle of wine. You open it, let it breathe.
Yeah.
Tastes delicious because the grapes were raised properly.
Yep.
If you raise the grape properly, the wine will taste good. It doesn't matter how many years it's aged or how many fires you've been to.
And I totally want to double down on that and say this too, that even a crappy wine tastes good with good company.
Yeah.
Who do you drink your bottle? Who do you drink your red with? That's as important as how good that wine is. It's the company makes that pour better.
There's so much to that because you could grab a beer with anyone, but you don't share a nice glass of wine with just anyone. That's someone that's special to you, someone that you want to have an intellectual conversation with, something that where it's just a different atmosphere, a different vibe, a different feeling. It's a level of trust. That's where you have the red wine. The beer, any party, any bar.
It's the company you keep, and I think that's all part of the process, right? And, I look at where I am today, 48 years old, 30 plus years in the fire service, married going on 20 years this year, going to be 20-year marriage, 4 beautiful children. Life is not perfect, but it's been good to me. And I've come to realize that it's those that I choose to surround myself with is what makes this so good. I've really narrowed down my friend group to a select few people that matter to me, and everybody else is part of my story, but it's those individuals that challenge me, that push me, that make me want to be fucking better. They make me want to be a better fireman, better husband, better father, better business owner. There's accountability built in when you surround yourself with the right people, and those are the people that I want to drink that red with. Those are the people that you want to drink, whether it's a $250 bottle or a $20 bottle. I don't give a shit because it tastes just as good when I'm with the right people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many fires you go to or don't go to. It's about who you go to fires with. And I truly stand by that. You can chase fires all day long. In the end, it's about who you're going to fires with. I'd rather go to a little less fires a year if I'm going with the right guys than going to fires with guys I don't necessarily like, not necessarily guys that I trust off the fire floor.
Bro, the reward is always tenfold when you're with the guys you want to be with. You can go to fires with complete clowns, and you don't have the same euphoria after it. You don't have that same high, if you will, the same storytelling, the same laughter, the same, hey, I fucked up here. I did this. This was good. This wasn't good. None of that hits the same when it's not the guys that you want to be with. So guess what? You write your fucking narrative, man. Period.
That's it. Good guys gravitate to great places, and those great guys can fucking take on the world.
I love that. My man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on real quick.
It's always good, man. It's this is what I love about what we do, because we hit record today on this, right? And if you decide to put this out or not, I know you have a lot of times you don't put out what you record, but I think there's a lot of great messages in this one. And what I want to say is that you and I have these conversations every single day.
Well, this conversation was in the car about 20 minutes ago. And I said, listen, I'm going to the studio. I'll hit record.
We do this almost every day. We talk, and it's not like because we challenge each other. We vent, we challenge, we affirm. That's part of that friend group that makes you better. And
you and I and the small group of us, we hold each other accountable in everything we do, from what we're doing here to our family to our kids. We hold each other accountable, and when something's not right, we let each other know.
100%. And I think that's why it all matters. And that's why
it works.
That's why the days that I don't want to do this, and there's days that I don't want to do this, I do it. What's going on with you? You got anything cooking? Anything coming up?
Yeah, so I'll be out in right outside Chicago in Illinois for the firemanship conference. I'm really going mainly because Joe Higgins was my DI when I was in Proby school from 111 Truck, and this guy, he is the living, breathing man of the New York City Fire Department. During that time, he was so influential to who I became as a man throughout my career. I've watched him from afar, and I have never had a chance to shake his hand 24 years later, so I'm looking forward to doing just that when I get out to that conference.
Do you speak with him?
No, he's the keynote. So I'm doing a quick thing on Tuesday. It's only 30 minutes. I guess there's going to be rotating guys in every 30 minutes. But he's the keynote, so that's going to be pretty special to see that.
That's very cool. I love that. I love it. Well,
But that's it. Pretty much taking the summer off.
Yeah, and that's kind of what things are slowing down for me too. So it's I got some trips coming up, but overall June, July, and August are a little thin. So on travel, which is good. So it allows me to work on things here, get the studio on track. We got some new content, new shows coming out, and so on. So all good stuff. So I don't know, man, making progress. But thanks for the invite. Always love chatting with you. So
all right, I'll talk to you soon, bro.
enjoy.